Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Ramblings of an Insomniac. I am Courtney. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to every single person out there. Everybody from all countries across the land. Hello, welcome. I always give this little disclaimer in case you stumbled upon me by accident or, you did so intentionally, but this is your first time. I'm, probably not everybody's cup of tea. I certainly say a lot of things that, are not the most politically correct. I really say some things that could offend anybody. I talk about all walks of life. I don't think I'm perfect. I say things I will admit if I'm, wrong. I will admit if I'm being a dumbass. Again, I'm not perfect, so chances are I'm going to be a dumb shit sometimes. And it's okay to call me on it because I believe in accountability, which is why a lot of people probably don't like me, because I do believe in accountability. I believe in not using claims as facts. And I believe in equality as far as, hey, if you are going to dish it out, also be able to take it, because we're adults and we need to learn to cope with life, right? And I think that freedom of speech truly, truly belongs to everybody in America. It is a right, not just for one side. And I mean that with Republican or Democrat, independent. I mean that for everybody. Everybody has the right to freedom of speech, but we do not have the right to talk about assassinating others, threatening and harming others. We don't have the right to, threaten people's lives. That's not a right. So if you tune into this podcast, you're going to hear that kind of talk, but you're also going to hear things about dogs and family and relationships and addiction and enabling and the weather and just life, traveling. And again, I welcome everybody. I don't care if you're a liberal, Democrat, independent, Republican. I don't care if you're tall, skinny, fat, Asian, Native American, whatever. Male, female, that's all cool. Trans, gay, it's great. I just don't like douchewads. Don't like douche lords. If you are the Lord of Doucheville or the Queen of Doucheland, please, that's not my cup of tea. You can still listen, of course. I welcome everybody to do so. I'm just saying that I'm an equal opportunity person, meaning everybody I like, unless you are, just are really big into unaliving people. If you're big into unaliving people and harming people and taking away constitutional rights and the hypocrisy, I'm not into that. But that comes from all walks of life. All walks of life. There we go. I got there. And that's the other thing, last thing. And people that have heard this a million times, they're like, oh my God, I need a fast forward button. I will digress a lot, and I do get there though. I come back around. You just have to hop on, put on your seatbelt, and just ride this train with me, because I do get there. Sometimes I Kamala and Biden out once in a while, but the difference is I actually get back on the right track. I don't stay knocked over. I'm not like the kid with the bucket that just keeps constantly knocking their head with the bucket, and they're like, well, Anywho, that out of the way, what's up? I don't know why I felt like saying that, but I got to figure out different ways to say hi, I have to be creative, figure out some snazzy ways to get people's attention and not make people fall asleep. Since I don't have my intro. Oh, that's the other thing. I don't have an intro and outro anymore. If you listen to my earlier podcasts, I have an intro and an outro. It's quite snazzy. And I'm being a weirdo, and I don't feel like, no, it's not that I don't feel like fixing it. I tried. I put in a lot of effort to fixing it. And I'm being a stubborn horse's ass, and I don't want to just look it up on ChatGPT because I'm a stubborn horse's ass and I'm way too prideful to ask for help because I'm, again, a stubborn horse's ass that doesn't want help. Excuse me. Whoa. I just inhaled my own spit. Ugh, sorry. Ooh. Anyway, so I need to get that fixed. And until then, I'm walking around with my cell phone, talking into my cell phone, where you hear currently probably dog tapping of the nails tapping on the ground. And hopefully you hear birds. Ready? Can you hear that? And you'll hear all kinds of things. So we are going to walk and talk. I'm going to talk into my phone, and we're just going to discuss things that keep me up, the crazy little things in my head that make me go insane, that make me go, things that make you go, things that make you go, And again, sometimes those things are relationships, family, work, and just life, you know? So for today, one of the things that I've been thinking about is commute. Why am I already like panting heavy? God, whew, I'm winded. I was thinking about commute and walking and how much I walk, and I wear, my Apple Watch so that I can keep track of how far I walk in a day and how many calories I've burnt and all of that. Again, because I'm a prideful person, and if anyone tries to ever say I'm lazy, I can be like, boom, not lazy, 8 miles, boom. Because, I need the gold star and the little sticker in the pat. I don't want a participation award. I hate that. But if I am kicking ass, every now and then, just every now and then, not every day, but if I'm kicking ass, once in a while, I need that gold star, okay? I need that atta girl, I'm like, yeah, go me. But I don't want the participation award because, again, stubborn and prideful. So I want to earn it. I want to deserve it. Oh, great. Now there's another thing you're going to hear. The power tools, the sound of hard work. Speaking of hard work. So I don't want a participation award because I want to actually deserve it and earn it. And, I got to get out of here. But when I am deserving it and earning it, after a while, I want someone to go, yeah, way to go. And I'm like, yeah. Anyway, commute. I wear an Apple Watch. I like to know how far I go. And I just started thinking, when I think I've done, a lot of miles to somebody else, like David Goggins, he's going to be like, Jesus, I do that. Like, I fart that many miles, I yawn and 8 miles comes out my 8 miles comes out my ass. What are you talking about, 8 miles? And, to somebody else, 8 miles might seem like climbing the Himalayas. And I've climbed the Himalayas. I've gone to Annapurna Base Camp, and it was 56 miles. And I did this when I was like 45 and not out of shape as in I wasn't overweight or like, had no muscle or never exercised. It's just that I didn't work out. But I'm very, very active. So they say you are supposed to be, pretty much in pretty fit shape because you're doing anywhere from 5 to 9 miles a day. But keep in mind, this is up to 14,000 feet of elevation, and it's uphill, and you're climbing sometimes straight up, So anyway, I didn't really prepare for that, but I did it. And now I started digressing. So commute, people that do these kinds of things that work out all the time, it's probably like nothing. And to somebody else, 8 miles probably feels like, 48 miles. So it's interesting when we talk about commute going to work, though, in a car. And I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were like, oh, I don't want you to have to come all the way. I don't want to have to come all the way over there and pick that up. And I'm like, oh, where do you live? And they were like, oh, I live over, and it was a city that's only, to get to me, would be 15, maybe 20 minutes if it's if there's traffic or depending on what part of the area, maybe 20 minutes. And in my head, I'm like, 20 minutes? 20 minutes in a car? Like, you can't drive 20 minutes in a car? I walk, hours a day, and you can't get in a car that does all the work for you with no traffic. It's not like this is LA or New York where 20 minutes turns into an hour and 20 because of all of the traffic, because of traffic jams. And so it's just interesting to me. I used to drive 45 minutes one way to work, so an hour and a half a day. And I kind of liked it because in the morning I could have my coffee and listen to radio and, kind of wake up. And then in the evening I had my time to chill out and unwind. And I liked it. So it wasn't, sometimes it sucked, of course. Yes, there's times I wasn't a fan. But most of the time, it was pretty great. Most of the time, I liked it. I had the opportunity, like I said, to just kind of have me time and alone time. And then other times, sure, it got, that's an hour and a half of my time, an hour and a half of my day I don't get with family and stuff. And so it's just interesting what different people's version of a commute is. To me, up to, a half an hour, 40 minutes isn't really that bad. It's not a commute. Maybe beyond that, I guess it depends on what you're doing. If you're going to work, if we're talking driving to work every day, yeah, maybe more than a half an hour might get old. I can understand that. I still don't think that's far to drive at all, but for work, because that's an hour of your time, maybe more than a half an hour. I can understand people saying commute as far as work goes. But a half an hour as far as just like, I have to go to the store, or I'm going to go see a friend, or I'm going to go to a restaurant or a movie, I don't think a half an hour is bad at all. I think that is no big deal. I don't even think 45 minutes is a big deal to like go to a store or whatever, really. But that's just me. I'm not saying I'm cool or that I'm right or anything. I'm just saying that's me. So I was thinking about that, just commute, which then got me thinking of time. And then that spun me in this whole freaking rabbit hole where I was just up all day, all night. All day. I was up all night in this weird rabbit hole about time and how, of course, when you're young, you think people that are like 25 are like old and wise and cool and like you just can't wait. And then you think of people that are like 40 as like decrepit crypt keepers, and people always tell you, especially when you have a kid, and they're like, just hold on to the baby years. Hold on to the years when they're young, because you blink and you miss it. There's that Craig Morgan song, the Cottonwood Tree. What is it? I will think of it. But, Cottonwood Tree being chased by honeybee. Oh, poop. I'll think of it. Anyway. And you kind of just always go, yeah, because people always tell you that when you're young, hold on to these years while you can, because it goes by fast. And you're just like, blah, blah, blah. But then time, you blink your eyes, like they say, and it happens. And you're like, wow, that chunk of my life just went by, and what the hell did I do? Did I bitch and complain the entire time? Did I act grateful? Was I respectful? Was I happy? Did I make good choices? Was I appreciative? Was I kind and respectful? What did I do? And then you evaluate and you do the whole, what kind of person do I want to be? Who am I? What am I going to handle? What am I going to take? And you reassess. And then that period of your life happens. And, maybe now you're 25 and you've got a job and you're, maybe you're kind of playing the single game for a bit, or maybe you have a young kid, who knows? But you're in another chapter, and then people will tell you, make sure you make decisions with jobs that you're going to be happy. You want to be happy. And at that time, you're like, I want money. I want money because that'll make me happy. Money will make me happy. And hey, I'm not disagreeing with that. Who doesn't like money? I know when people are like, money doesn't buy happiness. Well, just like Daniel Tosh, he's like, have you ever ridden a jet ski? I'm sorry, but it helps. And if you don't want it, I will give you my address and phone number, and you can come give me your money if you don't want it. But I get the premise. We all get the premise. I hear what they're saying. You still need to be happy with your job, happy with where you live, happy with your family and your friends, because that's where your time matters. That's where you're, if you're not surrounded by people that support you and that you trust, you're not really going to be happy, and I don't need a lot of money. I've said this before. If I won $1 billion, I know everyone says this, and I'm sure many people genuinely mean it, because I know I do. I would give the vast majority of it away to charities and my family. And I just want enough to get myself a small home on a small piece of property and a car that's paid off, and a little bit of a nest egg to get me through in the future. And the rest of it I would donate. But so I get that money doesn't buy you happiness, but having a place to live and feeling secure about bills sure helps. That's for sure. But time, you just think when you're in your 20s how you want a job that you're going to make a lot of money. See, you guys thought that I know what you were thinking. You're like, here she goes. She's down that hole. No. I went down there. But again, boom, came back. I'm the comeback girl. I'm telling you. This is not my first rodeo. I have been ADD, and sidetracked by shiny things for a long time. That may not be something to brag about, but all it means is I may digress. I may get off the beaten path. I may stray. You may think I'm down, but just when you think I'm out, they pulled me back in. I'm just kidding. Like I said, I've never even seen all of the Godfather movies. I couldn't get into them. I tried watching the first one, and I watched like 90% of it, and I don't know. I'm not saying they're not good movies. I just, again, ADD, can't really sit still for movies that long. I gotta be into it, or I'm out. I'm outie. So you get into like your mid-30s and your 40s, and each period of your life you're going through different stages, and you're usually, not all the time, but usually what you feel is important, your values, all these things usually evolve, I'm not saying that your core values don't stay the same, but a lot of people start off as one political party and then switch. A lot of people may start off as a certain religion or not religious at all and then become religious, or maybe aren't religious anymore. Maybe some people say they don't want kids and then have them. Maybe people want a job again based on money, but they realize, wow, I want to be happy. I want to like my coworkers. I want to like my job. I want to be able to wake up and not feel, suffocated. And so I went on this whole rabbit hole, and I'm like, oh my God, I have been out of school. I have been graduated from high school for over 30 years now. Over 30 years. And then so I have been out of school. I've been graduated from high school long enough to have gone from kindergarten all through my senior year, graduated 2 separate times, and then still had enough change left over to almost do it again. And I'm like, holy shit, that's a lot of numbers. That's a lot of time. And I'll look back at different things in my life, and people will talk to me about, hey, do you remember this time? Do you remember this time? And I'll feel horrible because I'll be like, oh my God, I don't remember that. And they will have such vivid memories of this time we spent together, and I'll feel like such an asshole because I'm like, I don't remember that, but this will be something like when I'm, in 9th grade, and I'm like, well, shit, that's been a lot of change ago, a lot of change ago. And, but yet I still remember the phone number and address, both, of a place I lived in elementary school. I'll still remember words of songs. I'll still remember many other things. But time is just an insane thing because, again, I'm like, yeah, but I don't feel old and I still have this amount of time left. Well, hopefully, I don't know, I could die today. And that's the other thing I think about. I'm like, man, I never think about the fact that I could die today. What have I done? If I died today, am I going to be okay with that? Meaning, have I said the things to the people that I want, to my family and my friends, that I need to say? Do they know how much I love them? Will they ever question my love? Will they ever have a doubt in my mind how much I love them? Will my friends ever understand how much they mean to me and their support and loyalty has always meant to me? So if this was my last podcast, I'm not trying to be a weirdo. I know this is dark, but if it was, hey, I do want my family to know that I am fiercely protective of you guys. I will do everything and anything for my family. I love them unconditionally. I will always love you. And when I'm not here, I'm going to be right there by your side looking down like everybody says, but it's true. I love hummingbirds. I feel like hummingbirds and horses, dogs, I'm going to be protecting you. I'm going to be there. And I love you fiercely. And I hope you never doubt it. I hope, I would go on and on, but I wrote letters. Remember, don't forget about the letters that I've written to each of you guys that are in the photo albums. They're behind the pictures in the photo albums. Don't forget the letters and the pictures in the photo albums. And my friends, you know who you are, my girls that have been with me since the dawning of time and we're still friends. You guys are my freaking amazing. Anyway, I won't do this on a podcast for everybody else to have to listen to, but I hope that everybody knows that time is something that if we go to bed mad, it's that whole thing. Like, I know you need time to cool off. I know you need time to reassess, to reevaluate, to calm down. But make sure that you resolve issues. And if you can't resolve issues, at the very least, try. At the very least, give it an honest, and I mean an honest try. I mean everybody actually listening, openly listening, hearing what the other has to say. Communication, being an adult, not trying to wait for the other person to finish up so you can get your word in. Try while you're on this earth to remember that we have kids that are looking up to us. We have kids that are watching and hearing everything we say and do. And what is it? Are we going to look back and go, damn, what did I pass down to my kids? How have I behaved in public where other kids and people can see me? Because whether I like it or not, people watch and kids watch, and they're very, very perceptive. What are we passing down to these kids? What do we say? How do we behave? Kids pick up everything. So parents, remember that. And, when you're on social media, when you're out in public, what are we passing down to our children? Are we passing down love? Because they are a mirror. And I'm not saying that if you're an amazing parent that you always have amazing kids, or if you're a bad parent that you always have bad kids. I'm just saying, just remember that time has a way of sneaking up on us, and we don't know how much we have. And while we're here, how do we want to spend it? How do we want to feel? What do we want to do? What do we want to accomplish? What are our goals? Who do we want to respect us? Do we want respect? Do we want success? And what does success mean? Does it mean being wealthy? Does it mean having family and friends that love us and support us and think we're good people? So for me, success is that my family knows I love them, and they know in their heart of hearts that I will always be there, and I'm a phone call away, and I always have been. Success means I have amazing, supportive friends. Success means I have supportive customers, that I'm doing a job that I love, that I have shelter, that I'm healthy, that I'm alive, that I have, of course, like I said, my friends and family are alive and healthy. That's success to me. And that I have podcasters, or not podcasters, but I have people that listen to my podcast. That is success. I have people that have been intentionally trying to find my podcast. They found it, and they stuck with me even when I ramble and say nonsense. Even when I probably put them to sleep and they're like, oh my God. And if you're trying to listen to me to put you to sleep, hey, again, whatever reason you're listening, I'm on board. I just love that you're listening. And we've got some new countries tuning in. We have a lot of listeners from Canada and Singapore and Japan now. Japan's coming in hot. What up, Japan? We've got some listeners from the Ukraine and Israel. What up, guys? Thank you, every single person from every single country, all walks of life. I genuinely want you to know it means the world to me. It does. And I hope that I know out of all the rambling I do, out of all the nonsense, I genuinely hope that once in a while, at least sometimes, somebody hears my podcast and can relate. They can go, okay, I've been there. Yeah, I feel that way. Because again, I don't always talk politics. I didn't talk politics today. I didn't even mention politics today. I don't want it noted. Another gold star for me. So, I just want somebody once in a while to understand. And I'm one of those people that genuinely, I've always been this way, and I really genuinely mean it. If you just need an ear, if you need someone to talk to, if people will stop me in a grocery store and tell me things, and I listen. Because I always think, God, what if this person just needed one person to listen? What if this person was on the verge of suicide or on the verge of, I'm not saying that I'm great and look at me, I do this. I'm just saying I really genuinely care about people. And as fired up as I get, again, it's because I get fired up with bullies and people that I think are evil. It's not, I try to listen to people, because what if they don't have anybody? What if I'm the only person? What if that day they just needed one person to say, hey, I get it, or just to listen, not even say anything. Maybe they didn't want anyone to say anything. They just wanted to get it out. They just needed someone to listen. I will listen. I've done that. I will continue to do it. So that's kind of also why I did this podcast. Maybe someone just needs to, relate. So I hope you can. I hope you can relate. And thank you. Thank you so very much, honestly, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell the world. Shout it from the rooftops. And again, control what you can and let go of the rest. Until next time.